What's up, fam? Matthew Sewell here, Real Estate Plug. And today we're going over one of the most important parts of real estate, and that's the process of purchasing property. That's the PPP situation for real. So let's jump into it. So I made this list and I'm gonna have it in a nice little decorated document on my website for you to find, and I can give it to you in person if you so desire. But these are the steps to purchasing a property, and they vary from state to state, but here in California, these are them. And it's not just a home. I know this says home here, but it's most properties. And if you're buying a commercial property, there's a couple of different steps. If you're buying land, steps are a little bit different. But generally speaking, this is the process. And most important is finding your why. That is the absolute most important part of the process, aside from getting the keys. And aside from meeting me. Definitely finding your why, because that can be done with or without me, right? You have to have your why regardless of who else is in the process. Now, if it's a family situation, then everybody's why should match, right? But you have to know your why and why you want to buy. That's going to make this process infinitely easier. You have a goal, keep it in mind, and going through the process, as long as everything aligns, you'll be golden. I promise you. Number 2 is going to be staging your credit, which is your financial profile. And this is important because most people get a loan on the property. Not everybody has the cash to put up. You can put the cash up if you'd like, and there's pros and cons with that. But if you're going to be getting a loan, you're going to be staging your credit, and the lender, this goes into the next one, the one after next, the lender is going to ask you for credit, taxes, income, and they're going to get an overall look at your financial picture, right? And that's going to help them come up with the pre-approval amount. But I'm jumping ahead. So staging your credit. And number 3 is finding me. This says a great realtor, which is I. But if it's not me, it should be somebody that's great and that can be a great resource to you, right? You want to make sure that they can help you out, because it is my job. Let's just talk about me for now. Let's just talk about me for a second. It's my job to look out for you. Like, legally, I am legally obligated to look out for what's in your best interest. And it's the greatest pleasure. So it's my business and pleasure to look out for what's in your best interest. And representation matters, 100%. How am I gonna represent you? Well, negotiation is my favorite part. And I love showing homes. I love making sure that your goals are getting accomplished. And my number one thing in life is providing value. And if I can't do it, I know somebody who does. And if I don't, I'll find them. Because part of being a realtor is being a detective. I'm like Columbo or Ace Ventura. Yeah. Like both of those guys. I don't know any black detectives, but wow. What's that about? I don't want to talk about it. Please don't. You can drop them in the comments if you know some black detectives, because I for sure can't think of any, and that's cool. But definitely grew up off I digress. So getting pre-approved for a mortgage. And real quick, most people spend more time planning their next vacation than they do shopping for a loan, which is crazy. Yes, experiences last a lifetime, but we're talking about a 10, 15, 20, 30-year mortgage, and it's incredibly important to have the details to your liking. So finding me is important because I'm going to lead you in the right direction, and I have a bunch of resources, especially when it comes to lenders, right? If you're looking for a fixer-upper and you can't or don't want to pay cash for it, well, I've got the nation's leading 203K lender rocking with me. If you want a mobile home, I've got a mobile home lender. If you want to buy a condo or a below market rate unit, I got you. Land, that too. Commercial property, also that. So, and it's extremely important to shop around, because different lenders do different things. Some will give you credit, some won't. Some are going to have higher interest rates than others. Some can do things like lend on mobile homes and others can't. Some have 203K programs, which check out my video on 203Ks if you want to know what that is. But different lenders do different things, and it's important to have the right people on the plane where you're going. Quick note, this process is pretty involved, and the credit bureaus, as is lenders, government, they know that you're gonna be shopping for a loan. You absolutely should, which is why I'm gonna give you a handful of them for you to choose from. Different lenders do different things. And the government, financial bureau, the credit bureaus, they will give you 45 days to shop around, and all of the credit inquiries count as one. Don't take my word for it. Let's do this real quick. Yep, Canva. Yep. What exactly happens when a mortgage lender checks my credit? Credit check is reported to the credit reporting agencies as an inquiry. Next, you can shop around for a mortgage and it will not hurt your credit. Within a 45-day window, multiple credit checks from mortgage lenders are recorded on your credit report as a single inquiry. This is because other creditors realize that you're only gonna buy one home. You can shop around and get multiple pre-approvals and official loan estimates. The impact on your credit is the same no matter how many lenders you consult, as long as the last credit check is within 45 days of the first credit check. Even if a lender needs to check your credit after the 45-day window is over, shopping around is usually still worth it. The impact of an additional inquiry is small, while shopping around for the best deal can save you a lot of money in the long run. Note, the 45-day rule applies only to credit checks from mortgage lenders or brokers. Credit card and other inquiries are processed separately. So keep that in mind. Don't be, it says, hold on, where does it say that? It says you can shop around and get multiple pre-approvals and official loan estimates. Multiple. So you can get a bunch and they all count as one. I don't know how many. This says multiple. Multiple to me is like 10. Multiple. It doesn't sound like there's a limit on it. I would ask your lender, and I do have a list of questions that you should ask your lender. You should ask your lender about this. How many credit inquiries can I get that they count as one, Mr. and Mrs. Lender? Yep, so there's that. Keep that in mind. So don't be afraid to shop around for a loan. Different lenders do different things. Step number 5 is going to be searching for the property. Now this is the fun part. I mean, all of these are fun, to be honest. All of these are fun. And I think a couple of these are more fun than others, but I don't want to jump ahead. But closing is really fun. Giving your keys is really fun because that's what we're doing it for. But searching for homes, searching for properties is really fun. I love basements. I'm not too sure why. I like hidden stuff like trapdoors, safe homes, bunkers. All that stuff is super interesting to me, and I'm not too sure why. But searching for homes is really fun. There's going to be some open houses. There's going to be some not so open houses, which I will get us into. But that's the fun part. And criteria, again, having your why makes this process infinitely easier, because if you're looking for, you know, a fourplex, a duplex, we shouldn't be spending time looking at. Unless you like the specific, you know, layout of it and the kitchen and some other stuff, then that feeds into the why. But searching for homes and having your why go hand in hand, all right? Then after we find the property that you like, we're gonna make an offer. And an offer is really just an agreement. And we say, hey, we're willing to purchase this property under these terms and conditions. And this says that too. It says, once you find the home you want to buy, you'll make an offer to the seller. And this typically includes information about the purchase price, closing costs, and contingencies, meaning that the sale is contingent on a few things, such as pricing and inspections. What that says? What does that say? Oh, home passing a certain inspection. This font is really little, but yeah, definitely the pricing, but definitely passing the inspections. And those are our contingencies that we put in place. One of the most important contingencies is the physical inspection, right? We're willing to purchase this property under these conditions. Under the condition that I don't have to do $1 million worth of work, and that it'll appraise, and that I can actually get the loan for it if I'm getting a loan for it, right? So making an offer and having those contingencies in place, because what's next is submitting the earnest money deposit. Now, this is another important part of the process because this is what secures our agreement. We're willing to purchase this property, and this is the deposit to show how serious we are. We want it, can't nobody else get it, and you can't cancel this contract without our consent. And if we want to cancel it, we have these reasons why. So make the offer, and after the offer is accepted, then we put up the earnest money deposit. Then there's going to be a bunch of disclosures, and I'm going to have some for you, and your lender's going to have some for you, and the title company is going to have some stuff for you to sign too, right? So it's going to be a paperwork party. So earnest money deposit, then disclosures, and these kind of happen along the same timeline, but I put disclosures first because as soon as our offer gets accepted, I'm going to send you some paperwork, and then we schedule inspections. Sometimes they don't happen right away. Sometimes they make you wait. I've had to wait in a crazy market. I've had to wait like weeks to get inspections done. And it's a part of the game that we play. But yeah, get inspections. Home, pest, roof inspection, and whatever other important parts of the house that you want inspected. Now is the time to do so because this property is gonna be yours, and it's gonna be your responsibility to take care of these things. So in the city of Oakland, there's a sidewalk ordinance. They also want you to get the sewer lateral compliant, and that can cost money. I've seen that be $20,000. Could be less, could be $5,000, could be nothing. It could be already compliant. But to have these inspections is peace of mind. Hey, this house is in perfect condition. I don't have to do anything. Or could be exactly the opposite. This house needs a whole new foundation. And maybe you want to deal with that. Maybe you don't. But it's important to know what kind of condition the property is in before you get the keys, because then it's yours. There could be some recourse if the important things weren't disclosed, right? Disclosures. There's going to be some disclosures from the seller as well, but I don't advise people to rely on those. It's nice to have, but we should be doing our own due diligence in purchasing this property. What kind of condition it's in? What kind of condition is it in? How's this area? So we should be checking out the property a few different times, right? Go at night, go during the week, go during the weekend. If there's a holiday around the time before our inspection contingency is up, before the period's up, go check it out. We need to know what kind of situation we're getting ourselves into. And checking out the property a number of times usually tells that story, so you can't see it too much. Okay, so get inspections. With the inspections comes the appraisal, and this is for the lender. The lender's not going to give you more money than the property is worth. So they're going to say, hey, you got to pay for this appraisal. Sometimes they'll cover it. Sometimes they won't. You should ask. And since we're speaking about lender stuff, I have a list of questions. I guess I should have told you this when we're talking about getting pre-approved. Let's go back. When you get pre-approved, you're going to want to choose the right lender. And different lenders do different things. And I have a list of questions how to help you find the right lender. So in getting pre-approved, you should be asking the lender a bunch of questions, things that you may or may not know, but you want to hear it from them. Chances are, unless you've done this a couple of times, a lot of this it's very intricate. And I've made this process as easy as possible for you. And again, with questions. So ask the lender these questions. They should know it. You should know it. So we're all on the same page. All right. So yeah, a bunch of questions, getting an appraisal, and some lenders will give you credit or will take care of the appraisal costs. All right. And after getting the appraisal and after getting the inspections. It could be a cause for negotiation. Hey, I want to purchase this property, but I didn't expect to have to replace the roof. Can you help me out with that? However it needs to be said, however the case is, there's different ways. And remember, negotiation is my favorite part. So, hey, we want this taken care of. Different markets provide different opportunities. So there could be some negotiation afterwards. And this says close the deal. There's a couple of things involved. So in closing, there's the deposit remaining, whatever the closing costs are going to be required to take care of as a buyer. Then those get deposited with escrow. And then more paperwork. And there's a timeline for this. So reach out to me for this timeline. And any contingencies, those should have been removed after the periods. So closing is usually 25, 30 days. And I usually do contingencies. I mean, it varies depending on the situation. So, but usually 10 days for the physical inspection, which is more than enough time to get an inspection done. And there's the appraisal contingency. That's usually 17 days. The loan contingency is usually 17 days. But to be competitive, we can shorten these periods up as long as we can perform in these periods, right? That's the most important thing, is that, it looks good as making an offer. Ideally the seller wants us to not have any contingencies at all, right? But keeping our goals in mind and our ability to perform, we might need these contingencies. So there's that. But so complete the closing process. There's going to be a final walkthrough as well. We want to make sure that the property is in the condition that we expect it to be in before we close. If not, then we raise a flag, red flag, and say, hey, this is different. What's going on here? We need you to take care of this. And then last but not least is going to be transferring utilities. Now, I made a note here. This is for Alameda County, right here. In Alameda County, homeowners are typically responsible for paying the following utilities: electric, gas, water, trash and recycling, and all of these fun things right here: internet, phone, and cable. I don't know who's still doing cable, but that's a thing, I guess. I got Apple TV, streaming services. But yeah, that is the process. And if you have any questions on any of this stuff, do not hesitate to give me a call, shoot me a text. However you prefer to communicate, I'm with it. Just reach out. I want to make sure that you're doing what's in your best interest, because I have a fiduciary responsibility to look out for what's in your best interest, and it's my business and pleasure. So if you have any questions on any of the things that I said or didn't say, or you saw or didn't see, please let me know so we can go over it, right? My name is Matthew Sewell. I'm your real estate plug, and this has been the process of purchasing a property here in California. I'm here with you and for you.